Picture yourself sitting in the TOEFL IBT test. You want to write important, but you've already used it twice in your academic discussion post. You want to say, I think, but it feels too basic for a high score. You know you need to demonstrate vocabulary range, but the same common words keep appearing in your mind. Here's the truth. Most TOEFL candidates rely on the same basic words throughout their exam. They write, I think, and this is good again and again in their writing and speaking tasks. And whilst these words are perfectly correct, they don't showcase the broad vocabulary range that TOEFL examiners reward with high scores. The students who score highest use a completely different approach. They've replaced those overused basic words with sophisticated alternatives that demonstrate their range of vocabulary. They know exactly which advanced synonyms to use in speaking and writing tasks, and they apply them naturally and confidently. This is how we help our TOEFL students prepare strategically through our online courses. They get step-by-step lessons, mock tests, ready-to-use templates, and vocabulary lists that show them exactly how to upgrade their vocabulary and use it effectively. With clear steps and smart preparation, they turn confusion into confidence. In this video, you'll learn advanced synonyms for 30 of the most common words in the TOEFL IBT test. These are words you'll use constantly in speaking and writing, so learning advanced alternatives is absolutely essential. By the end of this lesson, you'll be equipped with powerful vocabulary that demonstrates your range and can help you boost your score. The first word that appears constantly in TOEFL responses is show. You'll use it frequently when presenting evidence, explaining results, or illustrating points in academic discussion posts and speaking tasks. Most test takers simply write show repeatedly. However, using the same word multiple times doesn't demonstrate the vocabulary range that the TOEFL examiners look for in high-scoring answers. A much more sophisticated alternative is demonstrate. This verb sounds significantly more formal and academic. It's particularly effective when discussing research, evidence, or proof. Here's an example with the basic word. The study shows that exercise improves memory. Here's the upgraded version. The study demonstrates that exercise improves memory. The second extremely common word is important. This appears everywhere in TOEFL responses, from this is important to an important factor. Whilst it's grammatically correct, it's also incredibly basic. A brilliant upgrade is significant. This adjective conveys importance or consequence, but sounds significantly more formal and precise. Here's an example. Climate change is an important global issue. This becomes climate change is a significant global issue. This word is excellent for academic discussion tasks and speaking responses when discussing serious topics. Word number 3 is another version of important, crucial. This word is perfect for emphasizing that something is absolutely necessary or essential. Here's an example. Time management is important for students. Here's the upgraded version. Time management is crucial for students. The fourth common word is good. Most candidates say, this is good, or a good solution repeatedly, but this doesn't demonstrate the vocabulary range needed for higher scores. A far more sophisticated alternative is beneficial. This adjective suggests producing favorable results or advantages. It's particularly effective in both writing and speaking tasks. Here's an example. Exercise is good for mental health. This becomes exercise is beneficial for mental health. Word number 5 is bad. Many TOEFL candidates use it constantly when discussing negative aspects or problems. This word sounds too informal for formal academic writing. A much better alternative is detrimental. This adjective means causing harm or damage, and it sounds more academic and precise. Here's an example. Excessive screen time is bad for children. Here's the upgraded version. Excessive screen time is detrimental to children's development. Another extremely common word is use, which appears constantly when discussing employing resources or methods. Everyone says use repeatedly. A sophisticated alternative is utilize. This verb means to make practical or effective use of something, and it sounds significantly more formal and professional. Here's an example. Teachers should use technology in classrooms. This becomes, teachers should utilize technology in classrooms. Here is another commonly used word, get. It appears frequently when discussing acquiring or receiving something. A sophisticated upgrade is obtain. This verb means to acquire something through effort or process, and it's particularly effective in formal contexts. Here's an example. Students need to get permission before conducting research. This becomes, students need to obtain permission before conducting research. So many test takers use the word start when discussing beginning projects or programs. This sounds too casual for formal responses. A much more sophisticated alternative is initiate. This verb sounds more formal and suggests beginning something important or official. Here's an example. The university will start a new program next semester. Here's the upgraded version. The university will initiate a new program next semester. Do you notice how initiate sounds more professional and formal? This is essential for high-scoring responses. Let's talk about change, which appears when discussing alterations or adjustments. A sophisticated upgrade is modify. This verb is more precise and formal, meaning to make partial or minor changes to something. Here's an example. Universities should change their admission policies. This becomes, universities should modify their admission policies. The next common word is need. It's often used by test takers when discussing necessities or requirements. A much better choice is require. This verb sounds more formal and authoritative, meaning to need something as a necessity. Here's an example. Students need more practical experience. Here's the upgraded version. Students require more practical experience. By the way, if you want this channel to keep going, write yes in the comments, click like and subscribe. We only make videos if we see that you enjoy watching them. Now, let's continue with 20 more synonyms that can help you boost your TOEFL score. Another word that gets overused is but. Many TOEFL candidates use it to contrast ideas. A sophisticated upgrade is nevertheless. This word means despite what has just been said, and it sounds more formal and academic. Here's an example. Online classes offer flexibility, but they lack face-to-face interaction. This becomes, online classes offer flexibility. Nevertheless, they lack face-to-face interaction. Notice how nevertheless sounds more professional and creates better sentence variety. There is another advanced alternative for but, however. This word creates contrast while sounding more academic and sophisticated. Here's an example. Some students prefer traditional classrooms, but others thrive in online environments. Here's the upgraded version. Some students prefer traditional classrooms. However, others thrive in online environments. Let's examine so, which appears constantly in expressions like this happened, so this resulted, when showing cause and effect. A sophisticated upgrade is consequently. This word emphasizes logical results and sounds more formal. Here's an example. Students work part-time, so they have less study time. This becomes students work part-time. Consequently, they have less study time. Here's another basic word you've probably used hundreds of times. Also, test takers use this frequently when adding information or making additional points. A much better choice is furthermore. This word sounds more formal and sophisticated. Here's an example. Remote work saves commuting time. Also, it reduces stress levels. Here's the upgraded version. Remote work saves commuting time. Furthermore, it reduces stress levels. Notice that furthermore creates better flow between ideas and sounds more academic. Another advanced alternative for also is moreover. This word means in addition to what has been said, and it sounds more formal. Here's an example. Internships provide practical skills. Also, they create networking opportunities. Here's the upgraded version. Internships provide practical skills. Moreover, they create networking opportunities. The word moreover is essential for writing a high-scoring academic discussion post. For example, is a phrase that TOEFL test takers use frequently when providing examples or illustrations. A much better choice is specifically. This word means in a detailed or exact way, and it sounds more precise and professional. Here's an example. Many universities offer support services. For example, my university provides free tutoring. Here's the upgraded version. Many universities offer support services. Specifically, my university provides free tutoring. Let's look at especially, which appears frequently when emphasizing something specific. A sophisticated upgrade is particularly. This word means to an unusual degree or in particular. Here's an example. Language learning is challenging, especially for adult learners. This becomes language learning is challenging, particularly for adult learners. Now, here's a word that appears constantly in email writing. Thank. Test takers use this frequently when expressing gratitude. This is perfectly acceptable, but there's a more sophisticated alternative. A much better choice is appreciate. This verb sounds more formal and professional, and it's perfect for email communication. Here's an example. I thank you for your time and consideration. Here's the upgraded version. I appreciate your time and consideration. This word is essential for the write and email task because it's very polite. Another word you'll recognize immediately is ask, which appears frequently in emails when seeking information or action. A much better choice is request. This verb sounds more formal and polite, meaning to ask for something in a respectful manner. Here's an example. I'm writing to ask for clarification about the submission deadline. Here's the upgraded version. I am writing to request clarification about the submission deadline. The next synonym is another advanced alternative for ask, inquire. This verb means to ask for information about something. Here's an example. I would like to ask about the registration process. This becomes, I would like to inquire about the registration process. You can also say inquire regarding or inquire into when writing formal emails. Let's talk about another common word in emails. Sorry. It appears constantly when expressing regret or acknowledging problems. A sophisticated upgrade is apologize. This verb sounds significantly more formal and professional than sorry. Here's an example. I am sorry for the delay in my response. This becomes, I apologize for the delay in my response. Apologize sounds more professional and shows stronger communication skills. Next up is thankful. TOEFL candidates use it frequently to express appreciation in emails. A much better choice is grateful. This adjective sounds more formal and sophisticated. Here's an example. I would be thankful if you could provide this information. This becomes, I would be grateful if you could provide this information. The phrase, I would be grateful if, is perfect for making polite requests in the write an email task. Now, let's examine do or start, which appears when discussing putting plans into action. A sophisticated upgrade is implement. This formal verb means to put a plan or system into effect. Here's an example. Universities should do changes to improve student services. This becomes, universities should implement changes to improve student services. Notice that implement is perfect for discussing policies, plans, or systems. Here's another basic word that appears everywhere: improve. TOEFL candidates use this frequently when discussing making things better. A much better choice is enhance. This formal verb means to increase or improve the quality or value of something. Here's an example. Technology can improve the learning experience. This becomes, technology can enhance the learning experience. This word demonstrates advanced vocabulary. Moving forward, let's discuss deal with, which appears frequently when discussing handling problems or issues. A sophisticated upgrade is address. This verb means to deal with or tackle something directly. Here's an example. Universities need to deal with mental health concerns. Here's the upgraded version. Universities need to address mental health concerns. The next word you probably use too much is big or large. Many candidates use it when discussing size, amount, or importance. A much better choice is substantial. This adjective sounds more formal and precise, meaning considerable in importance or worth. Here's an example. There has been a big increase in online enrollment. Here's the upgraded version. There has been a substantial increase in online enrollment. You can also use substantial when discussing evidence, benefits, or changes. Let's look at big, which appears frequently when discussing amounts or degrees. A sophisticated upgrade is considerable. This adjective means notably large in size or amount. Here's an example. The program requires a big time commitment. This becomes, the program requires a considerable time commitment. Another extremely common word is many. Test takers use it frequently when discussing quantities. A much better choice is numerous. This adjective sounds more formal and sophisticated, meaning many or a large number. Here's an example. Many students struggle with academic writing. Here's the upgraded version. Numerous students struggle with academic writing. The word numerous is perfect for demonstrating vocabulary range. Word number 29 is different, which appears frequently when referring to multiple types or kinds. A sophisticated upgrade is various. This formal adjective means different from one another or of different kinds. Here's an example. Universities offer different support services for students. Here's the upgraded version. Universities offer various support services for students. Finally, the last common word is well. Many candidates use it when describing how something is done. Whilst it's understandable, it's quite basic. A much better choice is effectively. This adverb means in a way that produces the desired result or outcome, and it sounds more formal and precise. Here's an example. Teachers must communicate well with students. Here's the upgraded version. Teachers must communicate effectively with students. The word effectively is perfect for demonstrating your vocabulary range in both TOEFL writing and speaking. That's it. Those are 30 synonyms you must know to score high on the TOEFL IBT test. If you're serious about achieving the TOEFL score you need, check out our TOEFL courses using the link below. We provide step-by-step guidance, mock tests, ready-to-use templates, and everything you need to feel confident on test day. I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when the next video comes out. Also, share this video with your friends so they can improve their TOEFL score too. See you in the next video!